Which goal was the biggest, Herc? Who needed it more?
This is one of the easiest questions you've asked me in quite some time. It's Gio Reyna, and it's not even close. I mean, 421 days since his last Bundesliga goal. Scores this goal, hopefully puts a very injury-ridden year behind him. Gets confidence, stays fit, and goes in the right way, heading into the biggest moment of his very young career. The pinnacle for any footballer, the World Cup. This is what he needed. It's mental right now. We've seen him over this past year suffer injury after injury, setback after setback. Mentally, along with the physical, he's not been there. Hopefully, this takes him over the hump. That's why this is the most important goal. This is why this means the most.
Yeah. You could see in the reaction, right? Not just from Reyna. He seemed to have a moment there, but also from his teammates.
Yeah.
They all know what he's gone through. They were all very happy as he got the goal in a big win over Stuttgart. So certainly a needed goal for Gio Reyna. Hard to argue against it. I will make the case for Weston McKennie, because I think McKennie, of all the players, is probably one of the biggest names that had the worst last window for the U.S. If we think about the games against Saudi Arabia, and for me, Herc, very specifically, his performance against Japan. It was not great. So I think since then, he's needed to have bounce-back performances and see his role grow at Juventus, and it has. It's not just this header goal. It's the fact that he's settled into a starting role for Juventus at a very critical time for the club. As we mentioned, they're not off to a great start in the season. And as you said, it was his bread and butter. He is really, truly one of the best midfielders in all of Serie A since his arrival in the league when it comes to headed goals. And that's exactly what he brings to the U.S. men's national team as well. So a huge goal, I think, for Weston McKennie, not just with his club, but also with the national team. But to his club, there are also, Herc, right now, many links that Juventus may be considering selling him. Now, I don't know that what's best for Weston McKennie eventually isn't a move away from Juventus. He's been linked with Spurs most recently in the Premier League. But when you score goals, eventually the choice becomes yours. Instead of Juventus saying, well, this guy isn't scoring goals, this guy isn't producing for us, now maybe it's more in Weston McKennie's camp, okay? Maybe now there will be interest that drives his potential move, but he's not going to get shipped off because Juventus doesn't see a need for him, a use for him. Certainly he's producing. Ricardo Pepi is also producing. We probably got to mention him too. With all that we talked about Jesus Ferreira, you can't understate the value of Ricardo Pepi, who is not just scoring against PSV, a big goal for him, Herc, but doing what Greg Berhalter said he would do. He is dominating the Dutch league.
Yeah, dominating the Dutch league, and he also happens to be the only forward in Greg Berhalter's pool with equity for Greg Berhalter, who Greg Berhalter should feel in some way, shape, or form indebted to him and his decision-making. And also, by the way, that first window in World Cup qualifying, he did save Greg Berhalter's job.
Yeah, big goal for Pepi, big goal for his club team as well. It pulls them out of the relegation zone. Their first victory over PSV, Herc, since way back in 2014.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.